So, you are all adventurers in currently in the city of Waterdeep, which is this giant map here. But you currently are focused down here in this little, where this little purple arrow is, in a well-known tavern in the city called the Yawning Portal. Yawning Portal is famous because it has a pit that goes down into the Undermountain, a giant underground dungeon, many levels, that adventurers often go into to basically prove their worth and, be adventurers. Some come back, some don't. There's a big pulley in the middle of this tavern that lets people go on down into it. But you are all low-level adventurers, more or less. Not quite people ready to go down there yet. You're just starting your adventuring career. So, let's all first introduce our characters for everybody, starting with our regulars. Joey, you go first.
Hello, I am Joey. On this podcast, I'm usually the DM. Now I'm a player. Now I'll be playing the halfling named Mousey Brown. He is a co-owner and a writer at a local newspaper called what was his name? It was Knee Deep in Waterdeep, where he tries to find interesting stories of kind of the ground level of the people of Waterdeep, like everyday heroes and stuff. And the Yawning Portal is one of his regular taverns that he visits because of the adventurers passing through. And that's where he is today.
Next, we have Bun. Who is your character?
Hello, I am Super Bunny Bun, and I am playing Simon Foebinder, an extremely stereotypical wizard, a half-elf wizard who has basically his entire life growing up inside of the library city of Candlekeep, and has recently been kicked out to go on a pilgrimage as part of his apprenticeship for wizardry, and has somehow managed to find his way into Waterdeep and this strange, bizarre thing he's read about called a tavern.
Brand new. Now,
Every
tavern is going to be based on this. It's like when you go to your first amusement park is Disney World, and every other amusement park is like, man, this isn't as good as Disney World.
And he also woke up 5 minutes ago.
This is
There's a heavy drinking. Next, let's go on to one of our new people, Sam.
Hello, I'm Sam B. I am new to this podcast. I have played role-playing games before, but this is my first time in the Dungeons & Dragons universe. So my character is Sharptooth Base Wraith, which is really easy to say. He's a washed-up old glam rock musician. Everyone in the band has found further success or just moved on, whereas he is still living in the glory days of his career, thinking he's still a superstar, that everyone knows who he is. Even during the glory days, as a bass player for the band, no one knew really who he was. And it still just never crossed his mind that there's no way anyone doesn't know who he is.
Little illusions of grandeur, glamder.
Glamder, so yeah. Glam makeup, receding hairline, liver spots.
And he is
all rock and roll.
No, not a receding hairline, a reverse mohawk.
Yes.
Yes, that is
inverted mohawk.
Inverted, reverse.
Yeah,
It's the same word. Yeah.
Yeah.
And he is a goblin.
Yes.
Very important.
Very important. He is a goblin bard.
Yes. And Mousey, you are a halfling?
I'm a halfling.
You're a halfling. And Simon is a human. Human,
Half
correct?
elf.
Half elf, which is half human then. And then we have our fourth person, who
Half
is the least human look. Well, I guess the second least human looking after the goblin. Sam, who are you? I'm sorry, Steph, who are you playing? No, wait, I've already mixed you up. Ah,
So you may have
Steph,
noticed
who
the
are you
problem.
playing?
Yeah. So I'm Stephanie B or Steph, and I am Sam B's twin sister. So our voices might seem a little bit similar. Long-time listener, first-time player, and I am playing Brutrik, the bearbug
Bugbear.
monk.
Bugbear.
He was just kind of a little clumsy and just would prefer if he could have just stayed at the monastery and did minimal chores to get all the food and sleep he wanted, but he found himself kicked out of the monastery for all of his clumsiness and is on a pilgrimage of redemption to sort of to make up for all the damage he's done in the monastery. He has to help people out. He found himself in the tavern and broke some things there and was indentured. So he is a server there, and that's why he's at the tavern.
Sometimes.
Today is your, I believe, last day of your indentured ship.
Yeah, I'm just paying off the last thing I broke.
Yes.
Sharptooth Base Wraith is a frequent player at the tavern. The star of the place. That's why everyone comes there.
Yes. I do want to note one thing. So everybody at home can't see this, but we are on the nice little tavern character drawing that came in the Waterdeep book. And over in the bottom right, number 85 down here, is Matt Mercer from Critical Role.
Oh, there he is. Yep.
Yeah, and he is in this thing. He I believe helped with the sequel to this campaign. Had some ideas for Dungeon of the Mad Mage.
Me and Matt Mercer, best friends, of course. So
Matt Mercer, obviously.
And
Right
introducing our guest player for this session.
First session.
Matt Mercer, who are you playing?
What? No, I'm just reading a book.
Oh,
What?
he's very shy.
He's playing the
that's
silent
okay.
protagonist.
Yeah, he's got laryngitis.
I mean, people mistake him and Mousey for brothers. I mean, honestly.
But same hair color.
But let us move on to a more realistic version of this map. You should all now see
Well, that's Matt Mercer.
a more map version of overhead version of the Yawning portal. There are plenty of people in here, other patrons, people working, but these are people that you have either interacted with or know or who is important. So just to set the scene, you sit around a sturdy wooden table lit by a brightly burning candle and littered with plates and cleared of food and half-drained tankards. The sounds of gamblers yelling and drunken adventurers singing bawdy songs nearly drown out the off-key strumming of a young bard 3 tables over. Sharptooth, you would note this person as 3 strings. The bard who constantly comes in here named so because his lute only has 3 strings on it. Everybody seems to be listening to him and not you. You'll also see in here, Brutrik, you are over a little bit talking to Durnan right now. Durnan is the proprietor of the Yawning portal, and he is currently telling you, all right, just don't break anything else, and you'll be done by tonight. Like, can you make it a couple hours? Looks right at you.
Yeah.
All right, good. Honestly, I believe in you.
I turn to Sharptooth. I might turn to Sharptooth and I say, that 3 strings guy has nothing on you, Sharptooth. I mean, you have decades of experience, and this guy is.
What the hey was that about decades of experience?
No, I meant that in a. Oh, it was Arc. Okay, so I meant that in a saying that you're and then he just turns back to his writing and starts scribbling down nonsense words.
I'm as fresh and spry as everyone else here. I'm fresh and spry, fresh set of strings, all 4 of them.
Yeah, the proper amount of strings.
Don't you forget it.
Coming over nearby is a young waitress named Bonnie, who Mousey you are familiar with. She comes over and says, "How's everybody doing? Can I refill everything? Mousey, do you need any more chocolate milk?"
Yes, please.
All right, I'll go get you some. How about you, Mr. Tooth?
The regular here.
All right, white milk it is.
I'm telling you, milk's the best. Keeps the bones strong. Drink your milk, kids.
Simon, you'll see down in the corner or down in the bottom, Yagra Stonefist, who I believe we said is somebody who sort of helped you out in the street just out there, and pretty much you met like five minutes before entering the tavern. Pretty sure that's what we said.
Who are you referring to?
I'm sorry. So this person down here, bottom in the south.
Okay, I meant the you was referring.
Oh,
to.
I'm sorry, Simon. Simon, I believe that what we have is that saved him on the way over here. So we'll say that on your way over here, looking for a tavern, you bumped into some guys who were just not being mean, but just sort of like tough and telling you
the welcoming committee to the new city.
More or less. This person came over, Yagra Stonefist, a half orc, female half orc, tough person. When she came over and sort of scared them off and said, "Hey, why don't you come on in and just feel at home in here?" You can't really tell if she was doing it to be nice to you or she just also had a bone to pick with the people who were messing with you. But just either way, made you feel good, made you feel safe and enough to go into a tavern is, I believe, how you pronounce it.
Tavarn, yes.
Yes.
And then try to steal everything.
So is this your first time in a tavern? You called it?
Oh my, yes.
Where do you go to have fun then? If you're not in a tavern with music and.
I end up having some very rousing fun and simply just curling back with a good book. And I've never been in a place so jovial before, but I can understand the charm of it, I suppose.
Oh, this place, the Yawning Portal, best tavern in Waterdeep, bar none. Like, you have adventurers, you have top-notch entertainment. He points to Sharptooth, and just hope that that big guy over there doesn't serve your order, because he's a little clumsy and he tends to drop things.
On that note, Bonnie says, "Hey, Brutrik, can you bring that table, let's see, a chocolate milk, a white milk, and then a strawberry milk for that elfy-looking person?" Thanks, Brutrik.
Okay. Yeah.
Gernad serves up milk, some of which may or may not have alcohol in it.
Right.
You have to watch out when Brutrik serves your drinks, because sometimes you find Bugbear cares in it. Just a little word of warning. Hey, Brutrik, how you doing?
Oh, hey, Mousey.
Hey.
Just trying to get by.
Yeah.
Here I come. This one's for you, the chocolate milk.
Ah.
And this one.
He grabs the glass with both hands. Since he's so kind.
And this one's for you, new person, the strawberry milk.
It's Simon, Charmed.
All right. And this one.
Don't come over Don't come near me. Go to the
This-
the empty space. Put it down on the empty space beside me.
Excuse me, I'm just gonna sneak right by you. To get to the empty space. Alright. Here I am, and I'll just put it down with my really long arm.
Carefully,
Yes.
careful.
Yeah.
Brutrik's
was
arms
No.
stretch all the way to next week.
We're
Easy
watching
to
in
reach.
Here we go.
anticipation to see if this drink is placed neatly on the table without any spills.
You're gonna roll that?
I do actually want Brutrik. Please roll a dexterity check. So on D&D Beyond, you'll
Yeah.
be able to just click on not the save, but the actual dex check. There you go.
Yeah.
You know the top.
See? Oh no. Oh. Okay. Oh.
What did it land on? I actually can't. The final number didn't actually come up. Oh, there it is. It was taking a second. Oh, 21. Yeah.
Very close.
No,
to that one.
this is you have put the each of the milks down exquisitely. It's as if all the training, all of this table serving and busboying that have gone on for the last couple of weeks or however long you've been here has finally paid off your training, and you have successfully served 3 glasses of milk with not a drop spilt among them.
Well, this is the driest this has ever been.
You're telling me I have so much milk just soaked up and then dried up on my clothes.
Yeah. Well, you just gotta let these things go into you to learn them. Well, see you all later. It's
Just before you leave, however, all of a sudden, the noise of the tavern is eclipsed by a shout. "You pig! Like killing me mates, does ya?" And then looking back over in the direction of Yagra, you see Yagra is now being confronted by a man, a tough-looking human with shaved head, and 4 backup, we'll say, has just slugged her. She sort of goes back, cricks her neck, and does the tough knuckle cracking thing, and is about to go in for a fight as suddenly the crowd goes around. What do you all do? Or crowds around them. What do you all do?
That looks like somebody who could use some help. I am
Go,
going to engage.
Okay, we have one person who wishes to engage.
I say it's Simon. Isn't that the friend that helped you earlier?
Yeah, quite. I think she seems pretty capable. Would it be considered rude to help out?
Mousey looks at his wrist, his non-existent watch, and he goes, "I just remembered I had an appointment," and I run over to the bar, jump onto one of the bar stools, jump over it, and hide behind the bar stool.
Ferdinand kind of sees you jump over it, but then looks back and is like, "Yeah, doing that again." Yes.
So a Sharptooth will immediately scuttle over to as the crowd's going around and jump onto a table so that way they can see what's happening. And so they're going to be watching from a distance. It will technically be engaged into the fight.
Okay. So we'll say you jump on you'll jump on the table here.
Yeah.
Simon probably hides under the table. We'll see. So with that, I need everybody to go ahead and roll initiative. Where is my? I haven't run the game online in so long that I forget where all of these things are. There it is. Initiative tracker.
Is
I found it.
Where is initiative?
So it's
I
gonna.
found it.
There you go. So let me manually add Brutrik.
Nice.
All right, and we have.
Wait, did I?
You got 0.
No, 12.
You got a 12. Okay. And
Sharptooth got a 0.
Sharptooth got a 0.
Very.
On brand.
He's had so much milk at this point that he's a bit sluggish.
Do you have like negative something to roll a 0?
I rolled a 1.
So
Yeah,
just to note out, you rolled an int save.
I rolled an int. So
Oh, initiative. No, I'm sorry. Okay, you mixed up. So you rolled
I did.
intelligence check.
I'm just
Intelligence
gonna walk
save.
over and show it to you, right?
Yeah.
Put it down.
You can either roll-
Initiative is over near armor class.
That is an 8. So 11
There you
plus 3. So that makes way more sense.
Yes.
But also, I would be totally fine if he did get a 0. I'd be like, yeah.
It is. It
I
is
actually
also
can.
a. It is also a dexterity check. So you can always just roll dexterity.
Okay.
So with that, the crowd goes around, and you can't quite see, except for Sharptooth, who was a little above. You see that Yagra starts coming on in, and the fight begins proper. Everybody gets to have a round. It'll take about at least a round to push through the crowd to get to the actual fight, if you're doing that. So, Mousey, you are up first for us, for the players, let's say.
So Mousey makes sure the bartender, the attention isn't on him.
Bartender's not looking at you,
Okay.
so you're good.
Not sure how I want to play this for the audience. Suddenly, from the counter jumps a masked individual with he has like kind of tattered brown robes. And he has like a paper mache rat tail and paper mache mouse ears and a mask with little mouse nose and whiskers painted on it. And his hair is completely different. It's like before it was all curly and stuff, and now it's all straight and emo-like. And he goes, "Is there evil afoot?" And he points to the man harassing Yagra. Is this man bothering you, ma'am?
So he is about 30 to 40 feet away from you. 45 to 50 feet away from you right now. So while you say this out heroically, it kind of gets lost in the crowd. And as soon as you do that, you are up higher. You also just see Yagra just completely deck this guy. Like he's still moving and stuff, but he kind of gets hit right to the ground at the end of your turn.
I go, looks like you had this handled, but I'm here for backup. And he's gonna run across the table here. Ready his crossbow.
Okie doke. Brutrik, what do you do?
Brutrik will just slowly amble over, and I'm gonna need your help for the measurement of being able to go my max distance.
Yes. Okay, so you have a speed of 30 feet, I believe, without dashing. So each square is going to be 5 feet in this game. You can move your character by just moving it like an icon on your desktop, or by clicking on it and using the arrow keys.
There's also a tool in the upper upper left of Roll20. It almost looks like a check mark or like a circle with a ruler in it, and that gives you the ability to measure distance without actually moving yourself.
Is that okay? So if I just have that selected, select
Yeah.
my character, I should get an option to. Oh, perfect.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there you go.
So yeah,
Good
whenever you
for
want to move your character, however, make sure to click back on the mouse pointer icon on the top left, and then you can click and drag them.
All right, so that
We'll get into advanced stuff as we go along, but I don't want to drag things down too much with explanations.
So it did allow me to stand right beside Yagra. So
yes.
Brutrik
So Yeah, so if that's what you want to go, I will say it's going to take you your turn to kind of push through the crowd. So there's a whole bunch of people just in the way right now. But you do push through, and you get to about here, so you can sort of see what's going on. So you're not right next to her just yet, but you're close enough to get there.
I wonder if I could get. Well, no, I wouldn't. I know, but Brutrik wouldn't know that there's a crossbow lined up currently.
Yes. You also don't take up a full 5 foot by 5 foot by 5 foot cube, so you don't necessarily block line of sight like that. So don't worry about that too much.
And then Brutrik.
Sorry.
I was just gonna say, Brutrik would just say, "Hey, everyone, just calm down. You don't want to break anything, because then you just kind of end up working here for a while. So if we just all slow down here." The end.
You see one of the bandits like pick up a bottle of something and just break it on the table next to him, and now he's got like a knife weapon or a sharp glass bottle weapon.
That's like a half a day, but it's not worth it. It's not worth it.
Next, Sharptooth.
Before that,
Yeah.
I said I want to ready in action. My trigger is going to be if any one of these bandits or the man attacking Yegra makes any hostile action, I want to fire a warning shot at their feet.
Okay.
And see if I can prevent it.
Okay. You do see that that the blue man right now is prone, and Yager is about to kind of just start wailing on him while he's prone. So Sharptooth, what do you do?
So right now I'm noticing that I don't think I actually added any magic to my character.
Oh, we can go take a look at that real quick. I should have double checked that. I apologize.
Bards have magic.
It's a little bit embarrassing. At the bar,
level-
like I'm about to do something on a table, and it's like, ugh.
Yeah, let me check. Bard should have something at level 1, I believe.
Yeah. With the inspiration, the bonus action, Bardic Inspiration, is that only like once a fight or once after a long rest?
It's whenever I give it to you. Oh, I'm sorry, the Bardic Inspiration. That is you get it. Look that up. Boop-a-doop boop. Where are you? There you go. You use feature a number of times equal to your charisma modifier, and you regain any expended uses when you finish a long rest. So it's currently, because it does become a short rest later on. It's whatever your charisma modifier is. So under the CHA,
Plus 4.
It is a bonus action.
yes.
So you can use it in addition to your normal turn.
Yeah.
And then that would be the same for me with my unarmed strike.
I believe so, yes.
It's a bonus action. Sorry, that's what I meant by.
Yeah. For you, but for your unarmed strike, you get an extra unarmed strike when you attack first. So you'd attack, and you basically get an extra attack for it. So that's the only conditional for you. With the other one, with Bardic Inspiration, she can just use that at any point on her turn.
Cool.
However, feel free to take time to pick your spells. But what do you want to do in the meantime? Let's just say that you didn't really want to do much at the moment.
So Sharptooth or me? Or
Yeah, Sharptooth.
so Sharptooth.
Sharptooth.
I do have a light crossbow that I do want to fire at one of the bandits, just like right off the bat.
Okay.
Very important.
Really impulsive.
I'll say that you standing on this, you're high enough to, even though you're a goblin, you're still high enough to kind of like see them over some of the crowd.
Okay. So
You're on one of those like bar height tables.
yeah, they're not that tall, so I could see like how thick is the crowd around? Is it like
I will say that it's gonna give the bandits a little extra cover just because from
That's fair.
yeah, so they'll probably get +2 to their cover.
If 3 strings in the way, because
Three
like that's
strings
not a
is-
problem.
The 3 strings is up there, and nobody's paying attention to him right now.
I'm not gonna do that. Yeah, it's like jumping on the table, and it's like, all right, it's a party now, and then like just fire one at the one bandit, I suppose, the one that's in my main line of vision. I think maybe that
Okay.
one next to the.
So go ahead and roll to hit. So on D&D Beyond, that'll be under your under your actions, and there'll be attack.
Yeah, so I'm looking at bards. They know 2 cantrips, 4 spells, and they have 2 spell slots.
Yeah.
Okay.
An 11 to hit.
I got 6, I believe. Oh, sorry, yeah, you're right, 11.
6 plus a 5.
Yeah, I keep
so
forgetting the pluses.
as you're trying to do it, a couple of people get in the way, and you don't want to hit some of these people because they must be your fans. You definitely don't want to hit them. So you end up just taking a wide shot that just goes whizzing by one of the bandits.
So that happens. I'm going to use a bonus action of Bardic Inspiration because as I missed and I kind of maybe people came from behind and knocked the table a bit. That's definitely why I missed.
Must be.
I caught a glimpse of that mysterious Rat King, who I think is almost as cool as me. And I really wish to meet that guy one day.
Yeah, I forgot to say when he appears, he goes, "The Rat King is here from the shadows."
And so I'd like to do Bardic Inspiration because the celebrity of that character is almost enough for...
Okay. Joey, the Rat King, has Bardic Inspiration. I have marked it with a token.
I also want to make sure that Bonnie, the barmaid, notices I've arrived, and if there's any reaction.
She was close enough to you that when you jumped out, it says the Rat King is here before you ran south. So she kind of saw. She definitely saw you. You didn't get enough chance to look at her reaction, but you know she saw you.
Yeah. Okay. That's
Okay, Simon.
She's sorry.
What does tough old Simon do?
Oh my, indeed, kind of it kind of cowers and is worrisome as to what exactly is going on, but it at the same time sort of feels like he is semi-obligated to assist if possible, since she ended up helping him. So is basically trying to scurry forward while glancing through his spell notebook, with little there are many sticky notes and stuff sticking out of it, just
Those little sticky bookmark things.
yeah, and notations and so
pages.
forth. Yeah, and so is basically going to sneak through the crowd, trying to keep low, and is behind this table now, and is basically looking through some kind of spell that he knows that can assist, but doesn't have time to cast it yet.
Yeah, so it definitely you'll be able to do it next turn. So good with that.
Yes.
With that, you all kind of get a good view of what's going on. Yagra finally basically just knocks this guy to the ground and just grabs his collar and just starts punching the guy. And he's taking it. The rest of these his little backup right now looks like they're about to jump into the fray. And they indeed start moving forward to help. With that, Rat King, you can take your attack of opportunity, or I'm sorry, your ready to action if you wish on the one, because one of them they're starting to brandish. They're not brandishing weapons except the one that sort of broke the glass bottle. So you could he definitely looks like he's going to cause trouble.
Either I know there's the help. I can give the help command or something like that. Someone to give disadvantage on their on enemy's attack or something. But I basically want the first bandit that attacks. I want to see if I can startle him enough where he either doesn't attack at all or he gets disadvantage.
Okay. We'll do that. I'll say that you're pretty much ready for that. None of them are going to take attacks this round, and so all they're starting to move in because it looks like the guy on the ground is not having a good time. But Mousey, it is now your
Right.
turn proper if you wish. So we can just say that you are just still doing that.
Yeah, I don't want to cause a ruckus if I don't need
Yeah.
to. So I'll I don't think I can do much other than attack. But yeah, I'm just gonna keep reading that action. He goes, remember, evil doesn't pay. Choose your next move wisely.
Fernand sort of comes over to you. Is like, you want a loudspeaker or something? I can probably get you a bullhorn.
We'll talk later.
All right. He kind of goes back.
It's kind of hard to hear me under the mask, I know, but I'm working on it.
I'm gonna get evil and everything's gonna. That's basically what you sound like. Brutrik.
Brutrik sees all the bandits coming in. He's able to understand that Yager doesn't need any help with specifically that one person. So he would like to help her with the incoming bandits by just approaching over here. Because I assume I can just move freely in this area now.
Yes. So on your turn, you can move, do an action, do a bonus action, and do basically a free action, like interact with something in the environment once.
Okay.
And you can mix those up however you want. Your move is also not limited to you just move a certain amount of thing and then you're done. You can move up to your entire speed throughout your entire turn.
Wow, cool.
Like you can move, attack, then move again. Though
Providing-
if you move outside, if right now you're within 5 feet of that one person, if you move away from them, they get to use their reaction to do an attack of opportunity.
Actually, you're right, it is a reaction. I don't forget that. So basically, to prevent people from just running up and leaving, for the most part, if you just walk up to somebody and then step back, they will be able to attack you. Generally once, but don't worry. We don't need to worry about that now because I don't think you're going to back up.
No. So Brutrik will go for a. Can you quickly show me which one has the broken bottle?
So right now we'll say that the one that you're in front of has the broken bottle. So make things easy.
So I'm gonna go for a grapple attack.
Okay, so what I need you to do for that is roll your athletics. I'm sorry, your athletics. Roll an athletics check. This will be the big skill box in the middle.
Sorry, I'm. Okay.
So in the middle of your there you go. You found it.
Yeah. So many boxes.
It helps
Yeah,
they're alphabetical.
Yeah.
So 18 plus.
Ooh. So he gets to roll either athletics or acrobatics. So that will be just a dexterity check for him. And he rolls a 7. So you have now grappled him. His speed is now 0.
Just say, hey man, let me help you with that bottle. So is it a separate action to remove a weapon?
I will let you attempt to do that right now. So we'll say that because your grapple was so high, you were able to just like squeeze him. It's like, hey, you might want to drop that weapon and kind of give him a bear hug, and it just kind of like loosens his grip.
Yeah.
So you have disarmed him of his makeshift weapon.
Like, best leave that alone. You're just gonna end up breaking more stuff with that one.
He's trying to like threaten you back, but like you were giving him such a bear hug that he's having trouble just like breathing.
Yeah.
A bugbear.
Okay. Anything else you'd like to do on your turn?
With him in hand, can I move?
Let's see. It costs double movement, and you'll be able to move 1 square with him in hand.
Okay, I'll stay where I am.
Okay.
It's the end of my turn.
Sharptooth.
Because of the failing of the shot, I'm gonna try and get close. I also with my, so I'm also 30 feet. The one that I tried to shoot at, I'm gonna see if I can get really close to them to do a dagger melee attack.
Okay. Yeah, you're small enough that you'd be able to kind of like get through people's feet
Yeah,
and
like-
legs and stuff. So you'd be able to make it up to like right here or so.
Like a toddler with a dagger.
Yeah. That I'm really.
What is that
really
you've got there?
powerful with a dagger.
What do you got there? A big old sword. No.
Oh,
So I am gonna
So-
do a dagger strike at them.
Go for it.
Right for the.
Now,
Yeah.
since you forgot to add spells, if you wanted to dagger this person is fine, but you do have things like a vicious mockery and a charm person.
I was looking at
That could
that charm person, but I was also looking at the sleep one, where every time I played, they just went. That was a level 1.
Just full Jigglypuff.
Yeah.
Sleep's fun at like low levels. It's really it can make or break a whole encounter.
Yeah. I think with this one, I do want to try just doing like a dagger attack.
Take out a
Fine.
switchblade of some sort to
What?
do.
What?
You probably take out like a switchblade or some sort instead of just like it's like a nice like dagger that's like filled out with like bling, like glam rock type bling.
Yeah. It's like it's more like dazzle than like razor of like a
Wait.
blade.
I mean, this
You
is
take-
a bar fight. You're not gonna like do magic in a bar fight.
Might
You're
not.
right. Yeah.
Sharptooth rolled a 7, which unfortunately does not hit. You're like, hey! Trying to
what's
stab
that?
him. He kind of holds his hand out on your head at his arm or his leg, and you can't quite reach him because his arm is longer.
Why I order? And then be like this sort of also at that point I'm gonna use a bonus action. Be like, oh, what's up there? And then like use nimble escape and then kind of like go back into the crowd.
Sorry, so you get a to disengage, I believe. So yeah,
Yeah.
so you can get away without being attacked.
Goblin racial.
Okay.
That's-
Simon, you're making your way. Sharptooth just ran into the crowd and then ran back.
he finally manages to find a spell that most likely won't set the building on fire while possibly helping. And speaking of sleep, that is what he ends up casting on that group.
Sharptooth's like, man, I wish I could cause them to sleep. And Simon's like, wait a second, I know how to do that.
And
So I believe you roll
can roll.
5. You roll 5d8.
Yes.
So go ahead and
And-
roll.
It basically so it rolled a 15. So it basically starts with looking at the hit points of all of the enemies of the group, starting with the highest.
Yes.
And anybody who has less than 15 basically subtracts their current HP from that, and
And then we
they
move on.
drop
We
sleep.
move on to the next lowest, and then they fall asleep up until we run out of your die roll. So
Yeah.
after being hit in the face a couple times by Yagra, Krentz, who is you don't know that name, but I've said it because I always forget that you can't see the names that I put on here. The bald-faced bandit falls asleep.
Played by Joe Pesci.
Where's my sleep thing? I have a sleep icon somewhere. There we go. As well as I'm gonna say the bandit that Sharp hit. Falls asleep. Just slouches, just like falls back into a chair and is like just lying on the table asleep. All right. Anything else?
Nope, just crouching underneath the table, just in case.
Did you say anything when that happened, or?
Well, it's
Did you-
verbal, so I know. There was.
I mean, did you say anything after it happened? I should say.
Take that.
Yager is punching him, and she goes back for another punch. He's like, "Huh, notice he's asleep, just drops him and stands up, and then just goes after this next guy. She kind of looks back and sees still the crowd, so can't quite see Simon or Sharptooth, but she does know that somebody ran by, and this sleep is definitely not from her doing. And then Brutrik to the side also sees him, so she's going to step up and just smack this next one. Boop-a-doop. Just taking like 2. I'm just saying it's a bar fight, so they're just going to do 2 strength attacks. It hits both times, doing a total of 3 damage each, so 6 damage because she hasn't taken out a weapon. So the one directly in front of her that's not asleep takes a couple hits. Blue guy is asleep. Next, the bandits are up. One of them is going to go ahead and make an attack. Misses Yagra. Next one is going to go ahead and take attack. Also misses Yagra with a natural 1. So a lot of punches flying and a lot of Yagra is. You can tell that she's fight hardened, if nothing else. Move this one a little back.
This is more of a DM question because this happened in the other game. If a target's asleep, they're just asleep until they get attacked, right?
They are they are technically unconscious and I guess incapacitated until they are an action to wake them up or something else wakes them up. Yes.
Yeah, there's not really a roll they need to do, but they're just asleep.
Yeah, they're just asleep. They don't take saves or anything like that. With that, Mousey, you are now up, top of the round.
Well, I see that things are getting violent. I'm gonna take my crossbow and aim for that one there.
Okay.
Hold on, where's... This is bad. I thought I had my crossbow equipped. Sorry. Hold on.
No worries.
Crossbow. There you go. Crossbow. So that's a 12.
12 will hit, doing 7 damage to the one. I'm assuming you're just going to be aiming to not kill him. You're just going to try and
it's
injure him
in his shoulder.
Yeah, so so you're not technically allowed to do that by the rules, but we're obviously it's a bar fight.
Yeah.
I'm totally allowing that, no problem. But I do like to rules lawyer for those outside listening to the podcast who are now yelling, "You're not allowed to do that!" I know. I'm going to say that he gets hit in the he gets hit in the shoulder, and they both Yagra and him sort of look at that, and then look back at each other, and then Yagra just decks him, and he gets knocked back a couple of feet and just gets knocked unconscious.
Cool. This is why I like D&D.
Get to shoot people with crossbows. Anything else, Mousey?
Oh, did I get a billowing cape? No, I didn't. Darn.
You could probably buy one in the city.
I'm trying to look dark and mysterious while I do this.
You wanted the cast-off armor, that's right.
Yeah.
You hold up, and then you kind of look around and it's like, oh, there's no wind.
Yeah.
Anything else?
Nope. That's it.
Brutrik, you have one guy that's kind of like...
Well, I do say, let that be a warning for the rest of you.
Again, you're not sure if they can hear you or not, as you are still 50 feet away. Brutrik, you have one guy just in a bear hug. I'm gonna say that he's kind of incapacitated by how you're holding him. So it's a little bit more than just grappled.
Okay. So when grappling, I'm assuming it gives me sort of a disadvantage, or both my hands are full, so I couldn't punch the other person.
So technically, you could just be holding him with one hand and you can just punch him or do any sort of a headbutt or anything like that. By the rules, the way the rules are written, your grapple basically just means that his speed is 0 and he can't benefit from moving or getting an increase in speed. This doesn't limit you from attacking, nor does it limit him from attacking.
Okay.
But because it's a bar fight, not formal combat, I'm just saying that you have him in a bear hug. You as a monk, however, would have plenty of other ways to just beat the crap out of this guy without your hands even doing that. You can slam against the wall, you can headbutt him.
Because I'm so interested in this arm length, can I punch the person behind him?
Yeah. Yeah, totally. We'll just say that you kind of like move him to one hand, still holding him in the bear hug, and you just reach out and smack the guy beyond.
Alright, so
You have a reach
Brutrik's
of
gonna
10
move.
feet.
Pardon?
Oh, he said, yeah, you have a reach of 10 feet.
So great. The Brutrik moves the guy sort of almost under his arm like an upset toddler, like when their parents are taking them away. And it's
Let
just
me
like
go, let me go, let me go.
it's just like, okay, things are getting kind of intense here with these crossbows coming out of nowhere. You better just sit down, and so it's like just like a downward slapping motion to kind of make him sit on the ground.
I hear you. Go ahead and make an unarmed strike attack.
I like the idea of like you were going to try to grab him by the shoulder, but you get him in the nose instead. Oh, sorry.
All right, so for the unarmed strength attack, I just
You
have
should have an unarmed strike option under your actions, under your attack actions.
Here I am.
Otherwise it's going to be either your strength or your dexterity. Plus your proficiency, it'll be +2.
All right, so unarmed strike, and then just get going.
And it rolls. What are you going to get?
This reminds me of like the 3D pinball.
Classic.
All right, that's pretty 20.
Dirty 20. You do hit him. Go ahead and roll damage, which will be the in the next column over.
Oh, okay, sorry. It's just right there.
No worries. Yeah, do you see it?
Bludgeoning.
Yeah. So you get 1d4 plus 3. It takes 10 seconds for the roll to go through.
All right,
Very climactic.
6.
6, doing 6 damage, and that definitely hurt him.
But did Brutrik break anything else?
You probably you did not break anything else. You were far enough away from the tables that nothing else is broken right now. Now, I believe as a monk, you can, and we were just discussing this before starting, that you have, even at level 1, a martial arts. You can, when you take the attack action, you can make another unarmed strike.
Yes.
So you've taken unarmed strike right now, which counts as a monk weapon. So you're able to basically do the same thing you just did again, if you wish.
I would like to do that.
Go for it. So go ahead and click on the 2 hit and then the damage.
So Brutrik just kind of. Sorry.
Oh, continue. Go on.
So Brutrik just kind of puts. So I'm assuming he's sitting on the ground a bit now. Like I managed to, thematically knocked him down and just like there. That's like good job, and then it's like a pat, but then it's an attack.
It's you don't know your own strength kind of thing.
Yeah, it's just like perfect, good job, and then another.
And let's see what happens.
I was saying, as a shortcut, you can press the the weapon icon by the name, and that will roll attack and damage at the same time.
Right. 24 does hit, so go ahead and roll damage.
Okay, yeah.
I forgot about that.
Doing 4, and this guy is really hurt, but he is still standing. Much, but he's like, what have I done?
Not looking so good, bud.
He's looking really bad. Like on a scale of 1 to 11, he's at a 1.
Hit.
Sharptooth, you are now up. As you scurried back, you look back and you see a couple of people asleep.
So Shark, you couldn't think that they did that, even though there's actually no way because they just had their like hand on their head. But I'm gonna jump back up on this table to try and get a better view, and then try crossbowing again at the one person that's not asleep.
Yeah, you see the one that Brutrik just sort of patted. He's getting back up. He's like looking around for something to grab to smack.
Yeah, so I'm going to do that one. Oh, maybe? No.
9, unfortunately, does not hit. Sharptooth is living up to his name of being not as good as he used to be, and not realizing it.
No, trying to outrun that ghost.
Does your lute or guitar like turn into a crossbow?
Now, yeah.
That'd be pretty badass, honestly.
I
Yeah.
think that would be pretty cool.
No, that's a great idea.
His crossbow is out of tune.
You got to tune it up.
With that being said, I'm going to start tuning the lute. Be like, it's a new strings, I just can't. And then
I go,
into my turn.
nice gadget. I go, nice gadget.
I want you to draw that.
And with that, we go back to Simon. Simon, can he finish this off as everyone else is basically incapacitated? It's your
Let me
bud.
find out if I can. Yes, because sleep is not concentration. So
Yep, just happens. Just happens.
Yeah. So I will cast that again.
Oh, using both your level 1 spells.
He isn't really a tactician for battle. Wow.
Oh man, too bad you didn't get that first.
Now, should that affect just them?
It affects Matt Mercer in the corner.
Matt Mercer falls asleep in the background. Everyone's like, man, why do we even invite him to this bar?
So anything left over accidentally goes into the crowd too. Whoops.
Yeah, a couple of patrons fall asleep.
No, sorry.
And with that, they're all done. Yagra kind of like looks around. Yagra looks around and through the crowd sees Brutrik, Sharptooth, Simon, and then Rat King in the background, kind of like.
Does she see the Rat King? Because he is.
Well, what does the Rat King do?
He's seriously not there anymore.
Oh, Rat King has disappeared. I have your other one, but the Rat King is on a rollable token. You should be able to you might be able to right click on it and change the actual token face. I forget if the character players have that ability.
Doesn't work like that. So
either way, I put Mousey back.
Oh no, he's still hiding.
Oh, he's still hiding. So he doesn't see that. Or she doesn't see that, but she sees Brutrik, Sharptooth, and Simon go, good to have some backup, honestly. Thank you all. Appreciate that. Probably could have handled it, but always good to know someone's got my back. Why don't we... Suddenly, shouts of alarm suddenly ring out as a hulking creature climbs out of the well in the middle, followed by several floating giant mosquito-like things. Hulking creature climbs up out of the shaft in the middle of a tap room. A monster with warty green skin, a tangled nest of wiry black hair, a long carrot-shaped nose, and bloodshot eyes. As it bares its yellow teeth and howls, you can see that half-dozen bat-like creatures are attached to its body, with 3 more circling above it like flies. Everyone in the tavern reacts in fear except for the barkeep, Durnan, who shouts, "Troll!" And with that, we're going to stay into initiative with a different...
So you hear some rustling behind the bar, the bar table thing. And then you hear like, "Ah, darn!" And the Rat King jumps back up, but his ears are a little askew.
Halfway through getting up.
And and then he straightens his ears up. He goes, more evildoers.
Has Brutrik been working here long enough that this may have happened before, or is this the first time Brutrik?
I would say that you would have been warned that monsters have come up. Nothing like this. Nothing this big. Durnan has said, yeah, sometimes someone will come up and do this, but we can usually handle it.
Right.
And
So
with that, suddenly you see three of the six. I'm sorry, the six of the bat-like creatures, mosquito bat-like creatures, kind of detach themselves from the body of this green monster and then fly back down into the well itself. The three around him are going to just go around and take 3 attacks. Let me make sure I get their character sheets out. One thing on playing online, it's so much easier to keep track of character sheets and character health and stuff like that. It's nice to have that automation back. I haven't been able to use it since going back to doing things in person.
I haven't played in person D&D as a DM, so like I don't know how I would manage all that.
You got to get a system, and it's generally good if you want to really make it easy. Just get little discs and write 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on them, or like Monster A 1, Monster B 1, things like that.
I see people. Yeah, I see people with cards and stuff.
Yeah, with that, they will. Those little bat things will all go ahead and attack. With my things slowing down. 2 of them will hit, actually, and will sort of attach themselves to this green thing. One of them is still flying around, doesn't quite get it. The green thing takes some damage. As it looks like you see these bat things have these little sacs in the back in their abdomen that sort of get bigger and turn a little bit red. You think it's sort of a blood-sucking type thing like a mosquito. Rat King, you are now up.
Okay, so I'm guessing now the tavern is truly, like, panicking.
Yeah, basically anybody who is not a fighter, which is mainly everybody except you, Durnan, Durnan, and Yagra, have basically just started running for cover. They've all turned Simon.
What is Bonnie doing?
Bonnie is sort of trying to run to one of the back rooms. Not quite cornered, but she's closer to the troll than most of the other people right now. So if you want to get in and save the day, I will let you do that.
So I'm gonna. I only have a first speed at 25. So I'm gonna run closer and I'm gonna yell to 3 strings and Bonnie. And is this like a back door right here? I say to them and everyone else, like, get yourself to safety. Use the emergency access to your right and left. And I'm gonna shoot this troll.
Suddenly, a bunch of air sacs drop down, and people start attaching them so they can breathe.
Natural 20.
Natural 20. Doing, unfortunately, just 9 damage to this thing. But a nice hit, nice hit though. As you've taken.
Crawl back to the depths.
Right.
Ah.
Anything else?
That'll be it.
Brutrik, you are up. Everybody, all the bandits are unconscious. You put the one you were grappling down.
Mm-hmm.
What would you like to do? What would you like to do?
I'm going to imagine that me and Durnan had a little conversation about who to punch hard and who to not punch hard. And so we're just going to use a hand signal of like a thumbs up. So I'm going to just raise my hand up and put a thumbs up and see if he responds with a thumbs up that I can just punch this thing really hard.
He does the thumbs up back and does like the neck, the slice across neck thing. So you know that this is punch hard.
Mhm.
Why would I put my finger against his throat?
Brutrik is going to take one of his various monk poses, and it's almost like setting a spring down, and then he starts jumping and doing acrobatics towards the monster.
You're basically able to dodge the crowd as they are running in the other direction and jump onto some tables to give yourself some leverage.
Yeah. And if I can swing from the rafters, all the cool stuff.
It's a little high for the Raptors, but you are able to get there. One other thing you can do, by the way, is that instead of just getting the arrow out, you can click it while you are clicking and dragging your character. Right click, and it will create an arrow, and you can take a right click to make several turning points, and it will do something like this. It will also measure for you at the same time. And if you want to cancel it, you can just escape or went down. You see that? While you were left click and dragging him, you then just click. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, my computer is freaking out and it's moving my map while I'm doing that, so it's hard to.
Yeah, it's not perfect. It'll sometimes do that.
Okay.
But I'll say I know where you want. I know where you want to move, and you can move there. So you can get right here, and you are within 10 feet, so you can attack the Sturge.
Oh, I know what it is. If you
The trick is. Oh, sorry, but the trick is not to hold it; is just to click it real fast.
Yeah, holding down the right mouse button will move the map. But all you have to do is just click while you're holding the left mouse button.
Oh, okay,
right. Yeah.
It took me a while to figure that out.
We've all had to deal with it.
Point and click interface.
We need a few more mouse buttons. 17 should do.
That should work.
One for each finger.
All right.
So Brutrik, you are within range to attack. What would you like to do?
So I'm going to do a really sweet roundhouse kick at the large creature.
All right, go ahead and make an attack.
Imagine
This will be your unarmed strike, just like last time.
And as Sam said, it would be sort of like a languid movement. It's not a very focused or like hiya movement. It's like a very like almost like he's falling back and like letting it swing around.
Much more professional. The 15 just hits. So go ahead and roll damage.
So not going Zeke Hiya, like the Green Ranger.
I don't understand why yours takes so long to roll. Is your computer just kind of slow when it's actually rolling the dice?
Yeah, it's moving incredibly slow when it.
Okay, we could probably turn that off if you want to speed things up.
You can turn off the animated dice rolls if it's taking a long time. Although it's less fun that way.
All the excitement is gone from the whole game.
Yeah.
And so it is a 6.
Okay, I've done that damage. You do him for 6 damage. You can attack him again with your unarmed with your second attack.
And I will do that. So as the kick hits, as he comes back around, the arm extends out with the continued centrifugal force of the roundhouse and gives him a big slap on the body for 18.
18 will hit. I'm going to put a screenshot in the chat, in the general chat, and that will show you where the dice rolling thing is. Basically, click on the cog and go to Preferences, and you can turn off the 3D dice there. Doing another 6 damage.
Got it.
It's looking hurt. So he looked like he was wounded from the sturges that attacked him. The sturges being the creatures, a lot of you would probably know this is their basic thing. The little bat creatures drained him of some blood, but he's still looking pretty hurt. And it doesn't help that he gets to go last. Sharptooth, you were up.
After coming off the high of doing so much damage last fight, Sharptooth gonna, I believe, click. Left click drag.
Left click and then you tap the right.
Okay, yeah. Got it. I'm actually gonna go 25 feet apparently. Right next to, and I'd like to use Thunderclap.
Oh! Go for
Right
it.
here with my bass guitar.
Oh!
So what happens is he's gonna scurry over with his apparent cool bass guitar / crossbow and right after the feet of the troll and be like, "It's party time!" Boom! And like it's just the lowest of the low note that they can possibly hit on the bass, and it just shoots out the acoustic sound.
We're gonna hunt each creature within range, so each creature within 5 feet. So it's going to be the troll and one of the sturges, because you can't quite get to where he's standing.
Yeah.
But with that, they have to make a Constitution saving throw. Where are all my?
I was so hoping that you were going to stay 10 feet away because of your arms, because then that meant that I had 5 feet to move into.
Nicely done. Let's see. What is the modifier have to? What does the DC I have to be? It'll be at the top of your spell, your spells tab.
My spells tab. So my modifier is +2.
So not the plus. What's the next number? The DC or the save?
Save DC is 12.
12. Okay, so the troll passes. So he doesn't take any damage. But the Sturge does, so go ahead and roll your 1d6 thunder damage. As everybody in the vicinity of the room is now partially deafened.
Got a 4.
Got a 4. The Sturge just gets thrown back like 10 feet and just falls into the pit and is dead.
For a bonus action, I would like to nimble escape because I'm at the feet of a troll right now.
Go for it.
And
You know what? I'm actually going to let you. I'm going to roll for that other Sturge as well because and they got double. They got 11, so they are also dead. So both the Sturges that are attached to the troll, get thrown back off of him from the sonic blast.
I imagine they're like on either side of the troll, and the troll's just kind of like standing there like, what? And then they just like explode back behind him.
So you can nimble escape. Is that just every?
It says you can take a disengage or action hide bonus action on each one of your turns.
Okay, yeah, you just get the bonus action of nimble escape.
The goblins.
Goblins basically get the rogue disengage as a ritual.
Yeah, which the bunny folk now do as well.
I'm not entirely sure of the distance I can go back.
Let's see. You moved. 5,
I moved
10,
25
15,
feet.
20. You have 25. So I believe goblins have a 30-foot movement, so you can move back 5 feet. We'll say that no matter what. So you can go jump back here, or if you want to be closer to the thing. Diagonals also are 5 feet, so you can be on the other side of Brutrik.
Yeah, I am.
Whichever side you want to be on.
At the end of my turn.
Okay. Simon, you are up.
Oh my. What is that? And pretty much has used up all of his spell slots. But I think firebolt, and just shoots this, and it just goes careening off into some random direction. Roll an 8.
You do it, and it hits the It hits the fireplace on the other side of the thing and lights a nice fire.
Ooh, ah,
But then it quickly goes out because there's not enough like kindle in there.
ah.
Anything else, Simon?
Nope, cowering.
Yagra's up. She's just gonna come over here and she's like, "Don't worry, little guy, I got you." And she's just sort of like gonna give you a little bit of protection because she can't quite get over to the troll, so she's gonna stop there. The troll is up. Simon, you would probably know this is a troll because I keep saying it's a troll, but Simon would probably have studied common Underdark monsters in first year of Candlekeep College.
Right.
He gets up.
Never seen one in person.
Yeah, he gets up. At the beginning of his turn, though, everybody looking at him, you see a lot of the wounds on him sort of heal slightly. He looks slightly better than he did 6 seconds ago.
Hate it when boss fights heal.
He's going to go up here to Brutrik, and he's going to take a bite. Now he's just going to attempt to claw. How am I going to do this? Actually, let me check something, because it might... Yeah, no, he's just going to actually try and grab you, because this thing is doing way too much damage. I don't want to do that to first level things. So he's going to try and grab you first. Yeah. So I need you to roll athletics or acrobatics. Your choice.
I will roll athletic. I couldn't find where the preferences were, so I still haven't...
Oh, sorry. It's in the... you press the cog next to your character name, and then a thing on the right will show up, and preferences is under that.
Nat 20. But it's 25 with...
Oh, no, that's good, because he rolled a 19.
Oh,
And you are slippery, and you can just kind of like, you're too small, I can't get you. Ah,
Small? Who's small?
you.
No, I'm big.
I'm just like Sharptooth is like watching this happen, being like, "What's even going on right now?"
He's gonna try and make one more grapple attack on you. So go ahead and do the same thing again, please. Rolled another 19.
That was 17.
17 is not. You are now grappled by him as he picks you up.
Brutrik says, "See, I am big. I'm too big."
Rah! And he starts. He puts you. You know what? He's actually just gonna take a bite now that he's successfully done it. So, a 13. Does a 13 hit?
What would I roll for, or where?
You look at the little shield. Your AC.
Okay, so it is 13 as
It
well.
is a
right?
13. So the 13 does. If it meets it, it hits it. So it does hit. I'm going to take half this damage because it's way too much for level 1. So you take 5 piercing damage because he keeps rolling really well. So go ahead and take 5 damage.
Down to 4.
And you are grappled, and he is sort of carrying you right now. Grapple.
Grappled and in his mouth.
This sturge starts going over to Bonnie. What?
Only there was someone that could save her.
It starts
Wherever can we
pressing.
find a hero?
Turn out
Sure.
three strings.
It starts. This thing actually attaches itself to her
Now, Bonnie,
and
take
starts
this
drawing
shit.
blood.
Blood.
Mousey, Rat King, you're up.
I go, Bonnie! And I jump forward, aim my crossbow at this Scourge.
Scourge.
Scourge. And I'm a player, not a DM. And, I was looking at another character sheet. Well, I'm sorry.
No worries.
I'm just curious about all of you. Crossbow is pretty good.
Ooh.
Just 5 damage.
And you have foolishly tried to hit this thing, which is now attached to Bonnie, but perfect aim, you have killed this. It explodes into blood, which bursts all over Bonnie, and she looks a little bit like Carrie right now.
I go, you're welcome. And I turn my attention back to the troll.
It's okay, it's yours.
It's your blood, don't worry. It's my turn.
With that, Durnan actually grabs a large sword behind the counter and leaps over it and starts heading over to the troll. He says, "Somebody get some fire from the oil lamps!" Telling those of you who are fighting.
Look, where would oil lamps be located?
So each of the tables probably has an oil lamp on it. Brutrik, you're up.
So am I able to use my arms?
Yes, he's basically grabbed. He's not got you in a bear hug.
Okay.
He has just sort of like he picked you up by the waist.
Yeah. Again, it's just to make sure I can't move. I can't move physically back, forward, or whatever, but I could still.
Correct. You have 0 speed, but you are not immobilized.
All right. Can I reach a lamp on the table?
With your long arms? Okay, I'll give you an investigation or perception check real quick.
Gonna add another week to your to your servitude.
And are you going to grab an oil thing or that one guy's milk?
Just everything's spilt milk. We're all gonna be crying.
Yeah.
Do you see where it is?
I accidentally turned off the ability to roll a dice versus turning off the 3D dice.
Oh, whoops.
Yeah. So I have significantly higher perception at 1 than I do investigation. So I'm gonna roll that.
Okay.
I didn't turn off the 3D dice though, so we're gonna wait for a second.
Yeah, we'll have to look on how to properly do that.
I'll do that.
Sorry.
Thank you, bud.
This is great.
Can't wait. Here you go.
Oh,
It's like playing in slow motion. So you look around. You see a bunch of containers. You can't. You kind of take a quick glance at them, and you can. One of them is full of oil. Would you like to try and grab it?
yes. Oh wait,
Okay,
can
I'd
I-
like you to roll me a D100, please.
I was gonna say, could I just grab all of them and throw? But
You've got, because of how this is going, you're able to reach 1, and we're just narrating it like that.
right, perfect.
You're kind of doing it blindly, I imagine. You can't quite see what you're reaching at.
Right.
Yeah. Just like a handout. I rolled a 4.
4. You picked up one of them and it has liquid in it.
Perfect.
You also realize that you could probably just splash this on him and not break it if you're worried about breaking it.
Yeah, that is definitely a thought going through Brutrik's mind. So, are his the troll's teeth still lodged in? Was it a
Bite?
Was it a bite?
It was a bite, and he sort of like ripped off, got back. So he probably tore off a bit of things, but yeah, he's not still he still doesn't have his teeth like in right into your skin right now,
All right.
into your flesh.
I'm going to pour it down its back, so then to avoid getting any on myself. And then if I
okay.
can put the bottle back on the table when I'm done.
Yeah, you pour this out behind him. Unfortunately, you can't really see behind him, so you don't know if what you poured actually is gas or oil or not. You hope it is, and then you go back and sort of are really protecting that bottle or that glass container right now.
Yeah, making sure it's set down as gently as I possibly can on the ground.
Yeah, so we'll say you're still holding it right now, rather than just because you don't want to drop it. He's holding you up a little bit. Okay, Sharp Tooth.
I'm curious with the move Earth Tremor, because, like, is it that Brutrik is being picked up, so if, by the off chance that it were to work and they fall down, does Brutrik would also have, like, negatives towards that? Because there are in radius?
You said it's Earth Tremor?
Yeah.
Each creature other than you in the area must make a dexterity save and fail to save creature with bludgeoning damage. You cause a tremor on the ground within range. I will say that Brutrik would not take bludgeoning damage, but they would still roll to see if they fell prone.
Yeah,
If the troll falls prone, like if the troll fails, Brutrik will also have to make this, but they won't take damage initially because they're not touching the ground. I'll say
Yeah,
that.
that's what I was wondering. Almost like an air flying Pokemon to the ground.
Yep. No, I'll totally give that to you.
Okay. So then I'm going to sneak up a little. Am I technically 10 or am I 15 feet away right now?
You are. Let's see. You're right next to them. Yeah, you're right next to them.
Okay, so I'm going to immediately just do Earth Tremor
Okay.
right now.
And it will do a dexterity save.
I got a 5.
It fails with an 11, so it failed because I believe your thing was a 12. So it failed your dexterity save, and takes 5 damage, and falls prone.
So I do an athletics roll.
So Brutrik, make a dexterity save.
So is that I just click on the dexterity?
There's a box that says saves that has 6 words in it. Click on that one. Yeah, because there's ability checks, ability saves, and then skills.
Oh. Perfect. Should be 21.
So not only have you landed on your feet, but you have not dropped the glass bottle you were holding, the glass the glass container.
The best working day you've ever had.
Yeah. As falling, I'm just looking at the bottle as we both go to the ground and like, no, and so it's, the saving football thing where you just put your arm up, but then land maybe with a backflip, and they're like, oh, got it.
Awesome. Anything else, Sharptooth?
I believe that is the end of my turn.
Simon, you're up.
First off, from the number of forum posts that I found, apparently you can either have the dice be animated or have no dice at all. There is no option to disable the animation. Because it uses literal physics on the screen to determine what the dice are. They haven't done a simply randomize.
Yeah. So what you could do is roll the d20 on Roll20, and this add the things manually. But for now, we'll hold off and just do what we're doing right now because it adds all the numbers for you from D&D Beyond.
But Simon is going to be a little nervous because it seems to be getting closer during the fight, and is going to try another panicked firebolt.
I should say that it is prone.
It is prone.
And nat 20.
You will have to roll at disadvantage. I'm so sorry.
Darn. Well, that one goes... Okay, so if he was standing properly, I would have gotten straight in the face. Instead, it goes wild again and lights a chandelier on fire.
You take a chance to aim this, to line up your shot, and then Sharptooth does their thing, and he falls to the ground, and as soon as he falls is when you let your firebolt go. Completely goes wide, hits the chandelier, and lights it.
I imagine both balls have like whizzed by Sharptooth's head, like on both occasions, because I think Sharptooth have been in between Simon and the troll both times, and it's like, what the fuck? What's going on here?
Yager goes up and is like, let me show you guys and gals. Takes out a mace. Takes one attack. Hits for 4 bludgeoning damage. Does another attack. Hits for 5 bludgeoning damage, doing a total of 9.
No, I thought you were supposed to spray mace, not hit them over the head with it.
Bow, bow, bow.
I did add, and this was a joke I had for a while in one of the episodes that we did of Lloyd. One of the characters has pepper spray, and it's +1 pepper spray because mace is a brand name. So she had +1 mace. Oh, she actually gets advantage on both of those. Oh, she already hit with both of them, and no crits. Durnan now comes over, and he's going to go out and take his massive sword and makes 4 attacks on this thing. Amazingly hitting once. No, he gets advantage, so he hits 3 times, doing enough damage to knock it to 0. And says, quick, someone light it on fire! Unfortunately, it is the troll's turn, and their wounds heal up a little bit. They do this, they stand up. And it's gonna make 3 attacks. 1 at Yagra, 1 at Durnan, and 1 at Sharptooth. It hits Durnan and Yagra for damage that they can each handle. Sharptooth. No, it's not going to natural 20 you. Why is this killing you guys? I don't want to kill level 1 people in the first fight. I'm going to say it misses. with its second roll.
You're like, critical, I mean, it misses.
Yeah, oh yeah, no, it totally would have killed your character outright if we went by the rules. But we're not doing that.
Yeah, what is it, like, if it takes half your damage? If you get killed, it's half your damage.
If the overage after going to 0 is your entire health, you die outright. And this thing would have done 22 damage on you with that crit.
Yeah, that would have been outright dead.
Technically, it wouldn't have, because it would have been the bite attack. So the bite attack, we'll say that, okay, this is better, because it should have done the bite attack instead. The bite attack does hit you for 6 damage, Sharptooth. So you do take some damage.
I'm at 4.
So am I.
And this thing is looking surrounded. He doesn't really know what to do. He's just angry. Mousey, you're up.
Okay, so are there lit candles on these tables?
Yes, there are a couple of nearby tables have lit candles.
And is this thing drenched in oil?
Make a perception check. Mousey Brown. It is drenched in what appears to be strawberry milk. That's what the D100 was for. I gave you a 33% chance to get the thing, and I set the number right in the middle. But you rolled low.
Yeah, no, that's great.
So I'm gonna run over to the table, pick up a lantern, and fling some of the oil on him.
You're gonna splash the oil instead of just like throwing the lantern.
Okay, yeah. I'll throw the lantern. Yes.
Okay, if you want to throw the lantern, that'll be a improvised weapon attack. So go ahead and do your it's thrown. So give me a strength-based attack. So strength, you're just do a strength check because you were not proficient. Three. The oil does the lantern itself does not hit. It does separate enough that it does get covered in it, so that's not gonna go to waste. He is now drenched in oil and milk, strawberry milk. Hopefully they don't cancel each other out.
For some
Makes
reason
it
this rolled
spicy.
twice.
Brutrik.
Ignore that.
So Simon had lit a chandelier on fire by accident.
Yes.
Firing. Is there any chance it's right above the troll?
It's a little in the distance, I'll say. It's not quite right above, but you are close enough to the table behind you. Probably does have a candle on it.
All right. So then I would like to. So it wouldn't be an attack, I guess. It would be trying to grab the candle and then jump over and then light the troll in mid.
Yeah.
Flip.
I'll say for this, give me a sleight of hand check as you are attempting to just do this with finesse. Usually, sleight of hand is for pickpocketing or things like that, but I'll use it for hand dexterity.
Right, found it.
Roll in.
Yeah.
We need to get you a newer computer. Oh
Yeah,
no, you are rolling really well, honestly.
Yeah. So it is a dirty 20. So 18.
Dirty 20? You have done it. I will have it do 1d4 fire damage. Well, actually, let me look up what the fire damage generally is. I always forget. Oil, plastic. 4, 5, 7, blah, blah, blah. Deals 5 fire damage to any creature there. So I will say that it does 5 fire damage. He's looking really bad, but he is standing still.
All right.
Sharp Tooth, can you finish this off?
So it's actually completely on fire now?
It's enough to... It lit the oil on fire. The milk did not stop it. So it's not completely engulfed in flame, but it's enough to do burning sort of fire damage.
So I'm wondering, so does it make sense for me to grab more oil or more fire so it's more covered in like fire?
You would think that you just want it that the fire has done its job.
Okay.
It's enough for you to be like, that's enough fire.
It does, however, smell of strawberries now.
Burning strawberries. Oh, I'm
cooked
sorry.
milk.
Burning strawberries do not give off aroma. I know that from the Brady Bunch.
That is bizarre on both sets of the information.
So I'm gonna do a crossbow attack.
Okay, go ahead.
Alright.
I will say that you nimble escape to step back a little bit, so you don't get disadvantage on the attack. So go ahead and roll to attack.
Yeah.
That actually does explain why I don't think I've ever seen a strawberry-scented candle.
Probably.
And also, you have the guitar
20
crossbow.
will hit. Roll damage.
I hope it makes like a guitar twang as the bolt.
Yeah,
fires.
it's not guitar twang, it's bass, so you don't really hear it, you feel it. And then release the arrow into the chest of the troll.
So, how do you want to do this?
I guess it would be if I scooched.
Just did a little scooch.
I know, because I'm right at the corner of this table. I really like this guy jumping up on tables because of how short he is.
Yeah.
If he was maybe on top of the table, and then sort of almost did like a little spin, kind of like to wind up and draw back the arrow from his base bow.
I
And he's
love how
"Here's
that's a
the
thing now.
final note." And then like let's go into the
The final chord.
no, it's a
So you
note.
do this, and you tune your crossbow, your base bow, put a thing in. right at it, goes right through the air. This thing looks over at you just as you let it go with the twang as it's getting its attention, and it goes right into its neck. And this thing goes down, slightly on fire. And you have killed a troll.
Yeah.
Everybody sort of applauds. Is like, good job, good job.
I like Sharptooth kind of looks over to where Three Strings has been this whole time, and just kind of looks at him, and then just goes back to being with the crowd and soaking it in.
I think he glares.
He does kind of stare back, and you do. It seems like he recognizes the
Awesomeness.
The awesomeness and the sort of a competition between you two. You don't know. He doesn't realize that it's full of hate and loathing. But he's like, all right, you got this one, but I'll get you next time.
He winks back at me okay, and then it's just ugh.
And it's a friendly wave.
He Durnan points to all of you and Yagra and says, good job, all of you, good fighting. Round of drinks on me for that. Just toss the troll back into the well. He goes back. Hey, you, get away from the bar! Yelling at Mousey.
Sorry, did I miss anything here? Oh, that looks like, what was that, troll? Oh my goodness, this is going to make quite a story in my.
Oh my God,
newspaper.
Mousey!
Yeah. Oh,
Did
you're
you
covered in
miss
blood.
that?
Hello.
Oh yeah, it's not my blood though. Don't worry. There was these big bat thingies, these sturges, I think they called them, and they came out. One attacked me, and then Three Strings over here was about to bust it with his loot, but then there was an arrow that came out of nowhere. I think it was a crossbow bolt actually, and then it killed it and burst all over me. I didn't quite see who did it, but maybe it was that goblin over in the distance that had the crossbow.
Yeah,
Cool,
that must have been
definitely
it.
my doing.
Yeah, that must have been it. And he starts running down. This is going to make a great story.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go get changed.
Oh, okay, yeah. I mean, it's a nice look. It looks good. Okay, bye. She walks away.
She doesn't. She doesn't. She earnestly doesn't realize it was. She seriously doesn't realize that it was from Ratman. So
I would imagine you'd be a little distracted if this giant bat-looking mosquito thing ended up latching onto you.
yes, there should actually be a door here to go into the back. I don't know why it's not in this room, but he goes to the back.
Is it over?
Brutrik goes over to the troll and hefts it, rolling it back into the well. Yeah, I don't think he's getting up after that one.
Falls into the well and disappears.
I say this is going to make a great story. I'm going to call it the Brawling Portal. Page 1. I want to get interviews from all of you.
You see the 5 bandits having gotten their consciousness back, and just sort of they kind of have walked out during the commotion.
Yeah, they're only a
paying
split
attention.
minute.
Funny seeing them all sneak off like that. But,
Oh, where's my notes? They're there.
Brutrik looks at Mousey. Well, I guess I hit some stuff, but I want a note. I didn't break anything this time.
Dan comes over to you as you're doing this. Yes, you know what? You did really well. You didn't break a single glass, and you helped to get rid of that troll. Consider your debt paid off early. Take the rest. You get the rest of the day off, and the rest of your debt's paid off. Have a round of the house on me. He gives you a plastic cup filled with your favorite beverage.
The wooden barrel cups, because then it's a little bit more sturdy than
Yeah,
me.
yeah. It's like that. It's got a little like a Benny straw in it, like a twirly straw in it, crazy straw.
No umbrella?
Hey, bros are for paying customers only. Those things cost a lot of money.
All right.
Yager picks you up, Simon, and says, "There you go. I think we paid each other's debts off. Good job, you." And she sort of goes back to the side of the bar.
I could use a drink to calm my nerves. Where is mine?
Your strawberry milk is missing. Durnan pours you a new one and brings it over. As you all decide to sit down, a couple of patrons in the bar come over and heal you up. So Brutrik and Sharptooth, you can go back up to your full health.
Perfect.
As you all sit down, however. Yeah?
Was there any other participants in this battle that seemed really impressive to you guys? You would say?
I couldn't really see much from under the table.
Oh.
Brutrik's perception is +1. I really doubt he would have noticed.
I don't know if anybody looked over specifically. I'll let that up to your characters and you to decide.
I know that because Sharptooth did give Bardic Inspiration to Rat King.
That's
right.
right.
At the beginning with the bandits. But I think that at this
Mouse,
point...
you still have that Bardic Inspiration, by the way. But yeah, Sharptooth did definitely see him.
Yeah.
Maybe not his exploits and his and what happened afterwards, but you did see that he joined the fray.
Yeah.
Also, it's another rare sighting of the masked vigilante known as the Rat King.
Who?
He showed up. He missed a couple shots. Don't worry. The ones that I shot are the ones that hit.
I guess this one bolt came from behind me. I guess that was you, Sharptooth?
Yeah, of course it was.
Alright. That's settled.
It seems that while there was a sighting of the Rat King, his exploits may have gone unreported.
I'll make sure he gets a mention in my article.
You're just imagining that your boss is going to be like, "Damn it, I want exquisite drawings of and paintings of Ratman."
I want an etching.
What
Mine was
newspapers
it.
are called in D&D? It's like one sheets. Something like that.
They're broadsheets, so these would be rather than. So I think this is an actual term. I'm not sure of the actual history, but instead of it being newspapers that are printed up like Citizen Kane would do, they're just single sheets of things, probably given to like town criers who sell the things. Maybe a couple of newsies out there. I don't know the history, but it's basically less of a newspaper with several articles and things like that. More of this is what happened today.
Yeah, that it's how newspapers were before the printing press, where they everything would just be on one large sheet.
Damn Guggenheim messing up everything.
Is that they
Not Guggenheim.
put pressure on like the
That was before that.
team before that? Wow.
Yeah, it would have been. They were made by like large.
It's
stamps.
another G name. That's why I always mess it up with Guggenheim.
Oh,
Guggenheim
in
is
my
on the
mind-
Titanic.
in my mind, he actually has like a newspaper he hands out. That's okay.
Gutenberg. So you basically help write articles and things for a more, let's say, intellectually based sort of or a journal of opinion. So it would be more closer to what we would know as a newspaper, where everybody else is still doing basic broadsheets and stuff like that. Yours is trying to say, hey, people can read more than sentences, whole paragraphs for the news.
Not a lot of people buy it though. So he's trying to find that one story that really catches everyone's attention.
Suddenly coming over, it's like, oh, Oh, well done, all of you, well done. This man with a large mustache and funny hat comes over and said, wonderful. I saw all of you and the half orc over there and that Rat King person I saw in the distance. Oh, you are all adventurers, correct?
Yeah.
I'm actually a successful, multi-time, best-winning bass guitarist for a band, but sometimes side gig. Yes, adventurer.
That's good. That's good. You're all able to at least hold your own, obviously.
Actually, Simon tries to stammer, but it is instantly
He kind of
drowned out.
interrupts. Yeah, he kind of interrupts you, trying to like, oh, don't be so modest. I saw you put those ones to sleep. Very clever. Stealth is a great way to defeat a thing. Hey, I have a proposition for all of you. Can we talk somewhere private, please? If you don't mind, it is a paying opportunity.
I'm in.
Paid gig. He does invite all of you, including Mousey. You all get over to a little private area, kind of like where he's sitting up here. The other map that I usually use. Yeah, go ahead.
I say the Rat King is actually a friend of mine. He's a little shy. I can talk to him on your. I can talk to you on his behalf.
Make a deception check with advantage. Because because nobody would ever think that Mousey is the Rat King.
He's far too mousy.
Wait, mouse, rat, rodent. Wait.
So with advantage, but your 18 is good enough. So not only you don't know what he was thinking of, but he definitely believes that you are a friend of. Mousey. Well, that's good. Maybe you can give him this information and have him join in the thing. Be the thing. As he gets down to business in the sort of private area, the figure who approached you strokes his mustache, adjusts his floppy hat, and tightens his scarf. Volothamp Gadarn, chronicler, wizard, and celebrity at your service. Some of you from Waterdeep would recognize this, as well as probably Simon would recognize Volo.
Oh yeah, Simon's eyes have gone wide at the name.
Yeah. He is the author of Volo's Guide to Monsters and... Oh, how have I forgotten? Because we always just call it Monsters, or Volo's. Volo's Guide to Monsters. It's not actually literally what it is. He is pretty much, you would know him as an author of this famous book, which just recently came out. But it has taken the world by storm, the city by storm. Basically, he would know him as a bit of a braggart, a bit of a tall tale teller, things like that. Basically, to make his books more exciting, he will do that. But he's not you would also know him as a decent person and not like a skeevy sort of thing or anything like that. He says, I trust you've noticed the violence in our fair city this past 10 days. I haven't seen such much blood since my last visit to Baldur's Gate. But now I fear I've misplaced a friend of mine in this odious malevolence. I have a friend, his name is Floon Blagmar. He's honestly got more beauties than brains, and I worry that he took a bad way home a couple of nights ago, and perhaps was kidnapped or, God's forbidding, worse. If you all agree to track him down, and with all due haste, I could offer you 10 dragons apiece right now. 3 of you would know that dragons in this means gold. He's offering you 10 gold piece right now. Simon, you probably don't know that and think he is actually offering you dragons. And I can give you each 10 times that amount when you find Floon and bring him back, hopefully safe. So 10 now each and 100 each.
You write down
when he
his
comes
name.
back. Oh, yes. You would know him as Volo.
Well, a Volo and his friend.
Yeah, I will put that in the character stuff channel.
That sounds fine, but I don't really have the accommodations for more pets.
Pets. Oh, you're not from around here. No. He tosses a couple little bags out, 4 little bags. In there, this is what I mean by dragons. You open it up, and there are gold coins in there.
Okay. I am
Yes, we
not
call-
familiar with the local colloquials.
Yes, it is the same currency you'd find anywhere throughout the Forgotten Realms, but they call them dragons here. They are a little ornate for the city, although it is the same currency. It's sort of the local minting. I put the names in the chat.
Mousey's eyes go a little wide as he sees the gold. It's like he hasn't had much money come his way lately.
Just to clarify, how much money? So if somebody had offered me this in like our money, what would I be hearing?
So there's it's hard to kind of give that sort of thing, but mostly like a gold is more than like your normal just average worker would probably make in a couple of weeks work.
Okay.
So 10 gold, you're getting a decent salary for low level work. So this is quite a bit of change. It's small for adventurers. 100 gold pieces is much better, definitely. But as level 1, you just getting off the indent. Like you could probably have paid off Durnan with this 10 gold.
I think like a drink would be like 5 copper, which is a copper is 1/100th of a gold coin. A night's stay in an inn might be 1 silver, which are
Right.
10 of those make a gold. So we're essentially being given about $1,000 each.
As soon as the bag like hits the table, Sharptooth just grabs it and like pulls it close to him. The one that's for him.
Yep.
So can you repeat what he's offering?
So Volo is basically he wants you to track down his friend Floon Blackmore. He gives you a description. He is a rather handsome looking person. Describes Floon as a handsome human male in his early 30s with wavy red blonde hair. He was dressed in princely garb when Volo last saw him. He will give you more information if you accept the thing of where he last was seen and things like that. His friend disappeared a couple of nights ago, and Volo fears that he has been kidnapped, possibly murdered, but more likely kidnapped. He hasn't had much. He hasn't been able to get through to the local police, the local city watch, and just kind of wants somebody to kind of just figure this out.
And was he offering gold up front or as a reward?
So he's offering you each 10 gold pieces up front for accepting the quest, and each of you will get 100 gold pieces if you were able to bring Floon Blackmar back safe. He might offer maybe 50 each for if he's dead, but he doesn't like to think that he's dead. He likes to think he's just been, kidnapped.
That's a lot of cheddar.
Yes, well, he's a dear friend of mine, and I'm really would like to get him back unharmed.
Well, I happen to know that Rat King is Waterdeep's greatest detective.
I've heard of a man named Trench who was who I thought was the greatest detective in the thing. So not to insult Rat King, of course. I'm sure his deal would be on here, but or his skills would be much appreciated for helping find Floon. But I'm just a bit of a gossip. Excuse me.
I know he would be very happy to help you. So if I can just, he kind of takes his 10 gold pieces.
Yes, if you could bring that to him and have him during the fray, that too would be fine. Yes, thank you. I know that the Rat King doesn't like to have a social presence.
Yeah, he doesn't even have Twitter.
I know. Why isn't anybody getting these tweeters or these Facebooks?
Kidnap person is right up his alley, though. He won't stand for that. Especially
Volo would
one
be. Yeah. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
missing person, right up his alley.
That's good. That's good. And Volo, you can tell, he's been in the city for a while. He knows a lot of things, so he would be familiar with the Rat King.
Add 10 pieces to my thing.
It's you go kind of 1, 1, 1, 2, 2, 2. So yeah, everybody can add 10 pieces of gold to their character sheet under for the twins. Under equipment, there is a thing for money. Let me find the specifics.
It's in the upper right of the inventory tab. Currency. Just click where it says that, and you can add and remove and stuff like that in there.
So go ahead and give yourself 10 gold pieces. And just to clarify, copper. Think of it like this: copper, silver, gold. A penny, a dime, a dollar.
Okay, that's how I was thinking about it when I was.
Yeah. Not what the actual like currency would be equal to, but how you would calculate it.
Okay, very much like the metric system.
Pretty much. Platinum would be $10, and Ethereum would be a 50-cent piece, but nobody likes not Ethereum.
Yeah,
What is it called?
using that.
Yeah, what's the EP? Yeah, the EP is a 50 gold piece. Nobody uses it because it's dumb. So you can just mostly ignore that.
I know, like in our Fandelver game, all of a sudden they found EP. I was like, what the heck is an EP? I have to look it up.
Yeah.
Brutrik
Yeah.
also takes the gold and says, "I'm glad to help. I'm also glad to take this as well. By chance, do you travel to the monasteries?"
I've been up and down for the monastery. Truth be told, I've been attempting to do some looking out for some haunted monasteries of older times. I'm working on my next book about ghosts and spirits and haunted places.
That's great, but I was wondering if you happen to go by where my monastery is, insert name here that we'll think up later, and you run into my master and tell him how much I helped you, do you think that's something you could do?
If I find my way there, yes, definitely. I would even send a letter of recommendation as soon as Floon is rescued.
That would be perfect.
Yes. Well, thank you all. Let me give you the information. I would wish for you to get looking for him as quick as possible. He goes down and go ahead.
I asked Bolo, do you know if Floon had any enemies?
No enemies. He's maybe some jealous people jealous of his looks and social status, but no direct enemies itself. But he tells you 2 nights ago, before Floon disappeared, both Floon and Volo were drinking and merrymaking at a tavern called the Skewered Dragon, a dark and bawdy tavern in the Dock Ward. I'll go over what the wards are when we go over to the main map. Volo recommends that the characters start your search there. Mousey, you would know that the Skewered Dragon is a bit of a skeevy sort of, not quite like a gang hideout. It's more like this is where all the tough guys of like this one faction or where the sharks would all hang out, and no jets are allowed there. Except instead of dancing, they're actually killing people.
That must be a reference that I don't get.
Oh, you don't know West Side Story?
Oh no.
Oh, okay.
The Great Mouse Detective?
Great Mouse Detective? I've seen that, yeah.
You know-
Okay, I get it. Okay.
It's where the sword dancers go.
I would say you would know. So to give you a thing, Mousey, you specifically would know that of some of the factions in the city, like the Xanathar Guild, the Zentarum, are two of the main sort of crime syndicates and bad factions in the
Yeah.
Sorry.
I go.
Excuse me. Had a prolonged almost sneeze leading into a sneeze.
I say. That's kind of in the bad part of town.
Pretty much, yeah. I think with the Skewer Dragon, you would probably also know that it is more of a nope, because I can't find the information, so you probably wouldn't know it either. You would know it's definitely in a bad part of town. So, do you all accept?
No, I took the money. Yeah.
Yeah, you all took the money.
I want to play this is that Sharptooth just takes the money, is like not listening to anything that's going on, just like looking at it, shining it, and then like almost as like he looks up, he's just like yeah, whatever, and then just accepting the thing, but not.
Yeah,
really
you seem like the kind of person that would like bite each coin to make sure they're real.
Yeah, absolutely.
Gotta be careful though with those sharp teeth.
It's really just gumming it.
Only the tusks are real. The rest is like just old age.
What
God.
about Simon? Turn to Simon. Did he accept the money?
Confusingly, I'm not sure how well I'm going to be of assistance. I don't even.
Well, you've got book smarts, my young man. I can tell. You can definitely locate us clues at a crime scene and anything like that. It's a detective work. You can tell that he's sort of egging you on a bit.
I have read several novels about them.
Yes, it's just like the Nancy Drew boys.
I go like in 10 gold, 100 gold if we find them. I mean, for a newcomer to Waterdeep, that's unheard of.
You did pass by a really big bookshop on the way here. You didn't have a lot of money. So, if you all accept, you finish up your drinks. Volo bids you adieu. He says, I will be back here, and he gives you other ways that you can find them, but he will mostly just be waiting here for their things.
Jumps
And
into
we'll
the
jump over
portal.
to the... Woo! We'll jump over to the map of Waterdeep. So you are currently all down here. So, I believe I explained this on our session 0, is that the city is made up in several wards. I believe it's like 8 or so. You are currently in the Castle Ward, right on the edge of Castle Ward, near the Trades Ward and the Dock Ward. The Dock Ward is obviously where the shipping is. It's going to be, especially more towards the docks, you're going to find a lot of wharfs, fisheries, things like that. He is asking you to check out the Skewer Dragon, which would be roughly, let me draw this out. You would probably make your way up to the main thing, come down the main street, all the way down to Fillet Lane, and then over to the Skewer Dragon, which is right about there. I actually have a thing here that I can do. Lay your Igniter. So, that didn't work.
I was there for.
Oh, it's fine. I accidentally put it in a layer that you guys can't see, and I never use instead of the map layer, which of course then doesn't give its name, which is why I don't put things in the map layer. Token layer it is. There we go. Okay. So, with this, it is approaching, you were probably doing this around, you probably started in the bar around dusk or so, and it is getting dark out. The city is going to be going on for probably up until the early hours of the morning is going to be activity. But for now, it's getting a little dark out. In fact, we're going to put on the Night City audio instead, which is almost the same, but a little quieter.
Less horses.
Less crying
So.
babies.
As you head down,
More crying babies.
as you begin to make your way down the normal thing. You get to about here. The first thing you
Oh.
see is getting into the dark. Over to the side is a giant statue of a man that is of a knight that is towering over the city itself, the buildings. And this is a statue. There are several large statues surrounding the city known as the walking statues. Anybody from the city would know that they at one time were animated and are no longer animated. And sort of some of them houses were built around and even on top of prime real estate in the city. This one itself is the Honorable Knight. Looks kind of like this.
Cool.
I go, whoa, check out those statues, and you hear a little pitter-patter of feet run away. And then, as you look back, you see the Rat King kind of tailing behind you in the darkness.
Hey guys, I was told to be here.
The best guys, he's really cool.
Simon
Yeah.
would probably have read about. So before we get back to that, Simon would probably have known about these giant statues. That they are actually still animatable by the Blackstaff, who is basically the main mage that protects this town. Blackstaff is a title. She has a staff known as the Blackstaff that can actually animate these giant statues.
He looks absolutely fascinated by this and has actually brought out a fresh parchment and a charcoal and is trying to doodle it and just spouting little random facts that he's heard about these animated statues that all of the locals already know about.
Are they gonna like take out? He takes out one of his like the license plate games he'd get on long car trips and just like, found another landmark.
Part of me is like, sure, as he's drawing it, I want to walk over to him and be like, as he's drawing it, be like, did you draw that?
It's really good. Can you draw me?
Yeah, basically, it's like, I've been drawn by some of the best people. Really be an honor for you. Draw me.
I'm not really that good of an artist. Just wanting to get the basic shape.
I mean, is it? And then you look at it and it's like an amazing
No,
representation of the statue.
intermediate at best.
So Brutrik, as he's hearing Simon ramble on about everything, trying to play up with the idea of the bear bug having like a blessing of stealth at night or the night walk, I'd actually like to write...
Bugbear. I think a bear bug would be even more frightening.
Yeah. Bugbear.
Yeah, sorry, Bugbear.
Say it back.
Yeah. Bugbear, if I would like to roll a stealth check to see, I feel like he's sort of like stepping back in the shadows, not so much because he doesn't want to be with the people, but it's just when he starts hearing all this stuff about, he's not really that interested, so he just kind of like tries to disappear so he doesn't have to listen to it.
You do that, but as soon as you do that, like Mousey or as the Rat King sort of joins you. It is like, hey, good, I'll walk with you.
Okay, yeah, perfect. This is stealth.
Where'd that come from?
Yeah.
We were born in the shadows.
Yeah.
We're both at home here.
Yeah.
I am the slightly knight.
By the way, I'm the... People know me as the Rat King. We did formally meet earlier.
Oh, I remember him talking about where did he go? And just now, I only just now notices he's missing.
He had to run home, print his story about the amazing brawl we had in the thing where the Rat King was totally awesome.
Oh, quite.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't see you there then, but it's nice to meet you now.
I was in the shadows.
Oh.
I'm pretty sure I saw you once, just kind of standing. I also stand on tables. I saw you standing on a counter, a bigger table. I saw you there.
Okay.
I saved that barmaid. Totally
What?
saved her life.
What happened with the barmaid?
I saved her life. Killed that flying mosquito.
Oh, the Sturge.
Exactly.
I was just looking at the really big one.
As you were talking and walking, as you turn a corner, you find yourselves on a street that has been cordoned off by the city watch. Lying on the cobblestones are a half-dozen corpses, seemingly the victims of some terrible skirmish. Watch officers have disarmed and arrested 3 blood-drenched humans and are in the midst of questioning witnesses. The officer sees you, says, "Get on, nothing to see here."
Okay, officer.
I want to make a quick investigation of this crime scene.
Go ahead and do a perception as you are sort of just glancing over from a distance.
Hold on. Where'd it go? Sorry.
Perception. Oh, no, I see it's not. That was your last roll.
Sorry, I lost my window.
You can just roll a d20 and
Oh, here it is. Perception.
your perception's +1. Dirty 20.
Yeah. What do I most I see?
You notice on some of them the tattoos of a winged snake, a flying snake, as it were, on the survivors, on each of them in different parts. But it looks like this.
Will you allow me, being kind of a crime fighter,
Mhm.
that I would have a knowledge of brands, like of
What is the trademark of the? No, you would definitely know that this tattoo is indicative of the Zentarum Guild, one of the crime ones I mentioned earlier. And these are locals of the. These are most likely people who work for the Zentarum, unless some of them decided to just get one of the tattoos and look cool.
That's what I meant by brands, kind of like the tattoos. And,
Yeah. No, I know what you mean.
so I make a note that these are the people that are dead. So someone killed a group of Zentharum agents.
No, those are the ones that are the survivors.
Oh, the survivors.
The other ones have been sort of like covered up, so you can't really see much on them other than other things. But the survivors do have these tattoos on them.
And the police are arresting.
They're questioning them right now, and it's cordoned off. It's like, move along.
So I was just playing Brutrik because the Bugbears are kind of lazy and sort of apathetic. As much as he's sort of indentured, or like he needs to help people to get access back to his monastery. This is sort of like something just like, that seems like a kind of a big deal. I'm already helping one person. I'm not gonna keep helping other people.
Yeah, I read into it as, well, the police have this. I better listen to the police.
Yeah.
Sharktooth is like, not getting paid for this, not my problem.
Yeah. But if other people want to push for that, I would yeah.
Does the Rat King have a Batman-like relationship to does he have a Detective Gordon?
We'll say you probably do. We can figure out those details between games. At this point, you would think that this is just more indicative of sort of gang versus gang violence. Crime
I don't
syndicate
have
violence.
a need to.
This is not like an isolated incident. This isn't the Joker trying to destroy like an orphanage or whatever he does. This is just sort of, that there has been violence. And so Volo even mentioned it, that there's been violence on the street recently. The tension between the two has increased.
I keep to the shadows, to the back alleys as we're going through town. And I don't. I take note of it, but I don't.
As you pass by, you finally get to Fillet Lane, and you start hitting on that. As you get into this area, tall, densely packed tenements leave most of the neighborhood in shadows at ground level. Most of the street lamps have had their glass smashed and their candles stolen. The smells of salt, air, and excrement linger as you pass by rows of rundown buildings. So this is definitely like the bad part of town. You eventually, at the corner of the next street, you pass by an interesting looking shop. One nearby shop stands out from the others. Instead of being run down and dilapidated, it has a deep purple facade, and in its window hangs a stuffed beholder. Above the door hangs a sign whose elaborate letters spell out Old Zablob Shop.
Is it by chance a peculiarity shop?
It does look to be more of a curio shop rather than curiosity shop rather than a peculiarity shop. But yes, it kind of is. This is a joke for other thing. Everybody who doesn't know that listening at home, where none of us can say peculiarity shop without thinking about it really hard first.
It is not the best designed word for English.
So, as you pass by this, it does catch everyone's eye as being sort of out of place, if nothing else. What would you like to do?
I want to roll a history, just so if I can tell them more about this place.
Okay, yeah, give me history with advantage. Okay, you guys are just rolling 20s out the wazoo, man. Good thing.
Isn't this how every game goes?
What's that?
Isn't this just how every game goes?
Yeah, totally.
Well, actually, yes. All the 20s happen outside of combat. Then
Yes.
when combat happens.
Had to make it real.
Yeah, but you guys are rolling pretty high for this stuff. So, you know a bit of history about this. This was originally an older shop. This has been around for a while, known as the Old Zablob Shop. More recently, somebody bought it. A couple years ago, somebody bought it, changed the name, and then changed it back to Old Zablob. Same person he didn't sell it again. It's the same person. You would also know this probably is somebody who could sort of spy on or have information of things that were happening around the area. This would definitely be somebody who would be sort of your underground contact kind of thing. Not necessarily yours, but you know that he would be reliable for information.
If you need to know a guy, if he needs some information, owner of the shop is somebody you can rely on. Got
More or less, yes.
Many tips from him or her.
The shoe shine from Police Squad.
Exactly. Well, not quite to his degree, but yeah, I was thinking of that too. Would you like to go in?
He might know something about our missing person.
Sure. Simon is just a jittery wreck from how shady this place looks. It's just clutching his tome.
This is the least shady of the buildings that you have seen on this entire trip so far. Honestly, it's out of place here because it looks a lot nicer, albeit oddly purple all over the place.
Right. The rest of the neighborhood, though, has made him nervous.
Yeah. As you enter in, ding-a-ling-ling, as the bell goes off at the front door, you see this.
That's really nice with the animated dust in the air.
Joey bought that for me, and I was like, I gotta use it. But a cloud of lavender-scented purple smoke trails out of the shop's door as you peer inside. Every wall is painted purple, and every dusty knickknack on the shelves is dyed a deep violet. The hairless old gnome sitting cross-legged on the counter wears a plum-colored robes. His cheeks are decorated with 9 purple face-painted eyes. The gnome lowers a pipe and exhales a cloud of lavender smoke before raising a hand. Hail and well met! Come browse the shelves of the most curious curiosity shop in the world. Leads back.
He has the Bayonetta 3 logo on his thing. there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Runner.
Very curious.
It was around. There is a stuffed beholder in the window, and this particular backdrop I found is the purplest thing that worked, and there is no window, so he's just in the background here.
What is the name of this person? It's because it's not a Zoblob, right?
Goes in. Let me introduce myself. My name
Well,
is
I mean,
Zoblob.
It's someone I would. Oh, it is. Okay.
He would actually come out and just say this. My name is Zoblob. No relation to the points to the beholder in the window. No relation to the eye tyrant. You see, I purchased the shop years ago from someone who named it after this beholder, old Zoblob. I changed the name of the shop, but nobody called it the new name. They all still called it the old Zoblob shop. So I changed it back. But instead, you know what I did? I changed my name to Zoblob. Now everybody calls it the Zoblob shop. And they get it right. Sits back and he takes another smoke of like lavender pipe weed of some sort.
Aha! Quite witty.
Yes, I thought so too. Can I interest you in anything? Trinkets, curiosities galore.
I'm not here for pleasure, Zoblob.
Oh,
Needs information.
What are you looking for then?
Missing persons.
Brutrik just says, "Do you know where Flume is?"
No,
Floon?
you gotta. Okay.
I'm afraid I don't know anyone named Floon. What does he look
Friend
like?
of Volo's. Friend of Volo's. What do you know?
We
Where is
need
he?
a description. Being adjacent by name is not something that can help me identify a person. What does he look like? And you describe him. I'm not going to make you remember that he has red hair and whatnot.
Yeah, Simon pulls out a parchment.
Early 30s, handsome, flowing red hair.
We have a note taker, everybody.
No, I just remembered that.
Oh, nicely done.
Yeah.
Seems kind of familiar.
He's a friend of
Maybe I
Volo's.
saw him, maybe I didn't. It's all a bit purple haze in here. You would know, having dealt with this person before, he would usually take a bribe, if not an intimidation or persuasion. But the easiest thing to do is to bribe him, not with money, but with something purple.
So I don't know if the Rat King is chaotic or good or what his line is yet, but I want to go up to that plush beholder and go, tell me where he is now or rip off a tentacle.
Definitely chaotic.
So
I'm not gonna do
naive.
that.
So naive.
No, I'm not going to do that.
You think for a moment that the eye looked at you? Curious. Anyway. You would know that to loosen his tongue, the easiest thing to do was to bribe him or give him something purple.
I look at Sharptooth's hair.
Oh my god.
Completely oblivious to anything, just kind of.
Yeah. Do any of us outside of that hair have anything purple?
I'm going to leave that up to you guys, your characters. Maybe your trinket is purple. Maybe.
Can I say I've got a book note or
Bookmark?
yeah, it was getting a brain fart for that one. Yeah, like a purple bookmark.
You do.
Or like a
but
sticky for my sheet, for my spell
You,
book.
you have a purple bookmark. But you do know that you'll lose something. You will lose your place in your book.
Well, I suppose I could maybe part with this.
Oh, it's a
Listen.
word tracking.
We have the world famous of Sharptooth Base Wraith. World famous.
That's the
Sharptooth.
name. He like
Give him
perked
one
up.
of your. Give him some of your. Give him a lock of your hair.
Like,
Go on, Sharptooth.
like as soon as he says the name of it, and then I will perk up and then let you finish the rest of your sentence where you want me to give him some of my hair. And he's like, "That is the weirdest thing." Well, actually, not the weirdest thing anyone's asked of me. Let's be honest. But that's a really weird thing to ask of a guy that I don't even know, you rat king.
Zablob
That's true,
leans in
We
and
just
says,
met. That's true. We just met.
Zablob leans in and says, "You do have a lovely shade of purple hair, I must say. You go perfect in here.
That's so
The
lovely.
hair,
People haven't
the
noticed
hair
that
of
in a
a
very long time.
the hair of a famous musician. Would be curious. Have a curiosity shop. You
Do you
seem
know
to
any-
realize that he recognizes that you are a glam rock star.
Because of I was recognizing it and like acknowledging it, knowing that it isn't even like on for show, like some people have done in the past. I think the character is actually gonna be like, why yes, your shop, it's not complete until some of its hair is put in this lovely purple place you have here.
Well, if I may, he takes out a pair of purple scissors and
Very
puts them on the table.
kind of like goes to the like, watch it a little short on the top. So and maybe like turns like a little bit so his back's to it to get some of the longer stuff.
All right.
So yeah, it's a-okay to put it in there.
So he does take a lock of your hair. Not enough to really do anything. You've got enough hair to at least some of it come off. It won't,
Yeah.
be noticeable to anybody who was, except you, because you would know.
Yeah.
He says takes it, ties a little like string around it or ribbon or something. Says this will go great in my bodily shelves over there, where everything is purple on the body. Anyway, I believe you needed information. Well, a man matching that description, as well as a similarly dressed fellow with also similar hair, came through. They happened to be jumped not too far from my shop, just outside the skewer dragon over there in the corner. Some rough-looking men in black leather armor jumped them. I think there were 5. None of them looked familiar, none I've seen before. One of them did have a black tattoo of a winged snake right on their neck. Don't know why they picked black. Purple would have been much better.
Under
Shame.
my breath, I go. Zeratheme.
Zentarum.
Zentarum.
Yeah, sorry, my accent's horrible. Yes, I've heard rumors of that. Could be. But that's all I know. I don't know if that was the actual man you're looking for, but it does match your description. Both of them, really.
They've been causing trouble all over the city. We saw a few of them being questioned on our way here.
Yeah, that's what happens when you pick a fight with the Xanathar Guild. For those that don't know, the Xanathar Guild is run by a insane-ish beholder named Xanathar.
Oh.
He has a pet goldfish, and he loves the goldfish very much.
I know that one, yeah. Didn't know his name.
But they're
Look,
both
I just-
Z words. You meant, but that's not who was being arrested.
Technically, one is a Z word and one is an X word.
You're right.
I
What's
think
that?
there's a difference.
I gotcha.
He says, but yes, that's all I know. Now, can I
Do you
interest
know
you
the
in any
exact
trick?
location? Maybe we can. You know the exact location. We can look for clues.
just outside the little bit outside my shop, a little bit closer to the skewer dragon. I think that's where they came from. They seem to be a little tipsy, inebriated, if you will. Curious. But that is all I know. Can I interest any of you in a trinket? Curiosity, curiosity of some sort.
Brutrik would like to look and see if there's anything of interest, and something that'd be of interest to him would be anything that looks like it would make fighting easier, or
So this sort of things around here isn't selling anything of weapons, or at least not weapons or that you would be able to do anything. You are a monk, so you could pretty much pick up lots of things to be weapons. Go ahead and roll me a D100.
yeah. Also, if it's anything food related, that would also work.
Okay, yeah, I'll take a look. Roll like 3 D100s, and we'll give you the 3 things there, and we'll see what we get.
Several purple foods.
It's a bunch of plums.
You get all that. Remember that Heinz ketchup where they had the mix-up colors? That one of them was purple. You find a whole bunch of that.
Wow, I don't like these anymore.
I wonder why they stopped.
Well, it's expired 20 years ago. That's
So
still
that's
good. Guaranteed.
One at
fresh.
46.
So 46. You find a very fancy purple scarf and matching purple handkerchief. Roll again if you.
I'm going to
wish.
roll all 3 times to
There's slow motion dice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you wish to roll on roll 20, there is a little dice icon, D20 icon on the top left. If you click that, you can click on like D100 to just roll that on there. And on roll 20, you can turn off the 3D dice and still roll. 78. Let's see what you get with 78. There you go. A small piece of solidified purple smoke. And 36. An old contract marked void, stamped with purple ink.
Would the smoke be like cotton candy?
Oh, the solidified smoke?
It might. It would. Yeah, it would be. Well, yeah, it would be probably spongy cotton like. So yeah.
Yeah, there's nothing here that I can really eat or.
Survive eating.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff you can eat. It's just
Whether I get back up after I eat it, it's the big thing. But yeah, it was cool to look around, but nothing I think would fit Brutrik's.
Well, I've learned by many a customer in here that purple is not for everyone. Just curious because it is the purple, the perfect color. But no matter, you do ever get a taste.
Black. I prefer black or very dark gray.
I'm
brown.
Parrots, Sharktooth would like to look around a bit too for stuff.
So roll a couple of D100s, up to 3 of them. See what you get. I'm using a different trinket table than the normal one because normal ones get boring after a while.
Okay.
That's pretty awesome guitar.
Yeah, that's Prince's bass. He was completed after he actually passed away. But
wow.
So he's like in his head, he's like hoping. So it's a D100.
Yes, D100.
Okay, so
it's the 2 dice one. Yeah.
Got it. Oh no, 64.
64. The first thing you notice is half of a map.
Half of a what? Sorry.
Half of a map. Looks to be a country out way out east. The map is purple tinted.
I'll probably not take that.
Give me another
68.
D100 roll then. 68. You find a business card by a man named Omen Dran. signed in purple ink.
You probably don't know who that is, Mark.
I have no idea who it is. I assume it's from Adventurers Incorporated because that's the table I'm looking on.
Yep, he's the CEO of Acquisitions Incorporated.
Yes, or Acquisitions Incorporated. Yes, that's what it is.
Yeah.
Acquisitions.
It's the Penny Arcade.
Yeah,
D&D
yeah.
podcast.
Because they put out a D&D book,
Yeah.
and I'm looking on their table right now. If you don't
I
like
go,
that, give me
Good.
el-
Probably, yeah,
11.
just
You
toss
never-
on the side. Like, not toss, but like...
Just rummaging in there.
Yeah.
Just yeah, got it. And then 11 is the last one.
You find a glass eye. You think
That's
that
actually kind of cool.
you think that this might be for somebody who was a tiefling, as they generally don't have pupils; they have a solid color. This is probably a glass eye for a tiefling because it is almost entirely purple.
Okay, I think they're gonna take that,
Well, you're gonna have to.
buy it. How much does it cost?
I'll take that for 1 gold piece.
It's basically a marble.
Yeah.
Very exquisite marble.
Is the business card signed by Omidron?
Let me
Or
look that
is
up.
the
Ken.
Acquisitions Incorporated card?
It is not signed, but it is stamped in purple.
I think
You know,
I am gonna
you
buy
ever-
it with 1 gold coin. The eye.
Okay, so go ahead and subtract a coin from your currency, and in other possessions down at the bottom of your inventory, go ahead and click on that and add a purple glass eye.
if you ever need Ventures for Hire, Acquisitions Inc. are usually a good way to go, but I might have applied there once and they rejected me. Not that I'm bitter or anything.
So 64 is half a map, and 65 is the other half of a map.
Oh, that's really good.
So, is that all? Does anybody else want to look around or ask around or anything?
I'm good.
All right. We'll end this in just a bit. We are getting on to 11 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, but I think you have enough to just get to the next little bit of area. So I'll just introduce that. So you leave the shop. I spent yesterday just finding some good, nice music and some good art for that to just make it all that little mysterious sort of feel. So I'm
Yeah,
happy
so
you went in
it's
there.
Yeah, I felt bad because I knew Brutrik wouldn't care, but I was hoping somebody would go in there.
Honestly, it's fine. I've set up things that don't get done before because that's just how it is. So it's I'm here to make sure that your characters can do things. It's okay if you don't. You make it down the street a little bit. You get to the Skewered Dragon. It faces an alley that runs between Net Street and Fillet Lane. The Skewered Dragon looks like a ruin. Both its front-facing windows are smashed, and a ship's anchor is lodged in the roof. Through the windows, you can see a group of haggard patrons drinking from huge tankards. And I think from that we can call it for the night, unless anybody wants to go
Yeah,
for a little
sounds-
more.
Yeah, let's go. It sounds about right.